Coach, thanks for taking time to join us here today. It's been a while since our last Choctaw football game. It was a 31-23 loss to West Georgia. This is a very good football team that the Choctaws played. They've had probably a season that I would say would be a bit unproductive, but the Choctaws played well enough to win that football game against a really talented team.
West Georgia is as talented as we have in our league. And you know what? A lot of them are right there toward the top. And we can go back to Valdosta and Delta State and all those guys. They're very, very talented. West Georgia, though, you know, when you look at the recruiting classes, you see this in the big schools, right? With Ole Miss and Florida State and Alabama. How does their recruiting class rank in the nation? As far as, you know, #1 recruiting class, Notre Dame, USC, all these. And they talk about their recruiting class based off of stars, 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, that kind of thing. And West Georgia, I know their coach did a little poll. I know I saw it, and he said that their team was ranked up there in the top 50 in the nation. I'm talking about as far as Division I's included too. So there are a lot of transfers, a lot of players that came from bigger schools. So, you know, when we go in there and compete like we did, that's not winning for us. That's not what we're satisfied with. We were in position, though, to win the ball game, and we played with them toe-to-toe, which was exciting, knowing that we're not that far away. You know, when you have a record that's like it is and we're going through this transition like we're doing, and right up to, you know, the first time we can compete in this league, and in a tough league, it's good to know that with a little more, maybe not even more recruits, I think these kids are good enough to win, and they know that. And with another recruiting class, though, that's going to make a big difference.
You know, one of the things that West Georgia was not able to do a couple of times was just get a good clean snap away. And you know, those kind of incidents are the things that the Choctaws really need to take advantage of against a team as talented as West Georgia. They did a little bit of that and pulled something out of your hat with the 2-point conversion on the fake PAT, and it's those little things that often tip the balance for you.
You bet. And we had a play there on the 2-point conversion, by the way. We had a guy that was going to come open, and they grabbed our tight end and just tackled him to the ground. It was Rodney Alexander, and grabbed him and tackled him, and I got a headache yelling at the officials on that play. I was going, man, you guys see that? But Mike got it in anyway and made a great play, and so that was exciting. We did take advantage of them. You know what? Both those snaps, the errant snaps, we saw a little bit of that last year, you know, too. We did it ourselves. But you know what? They did that. They snapped it, and they had to kick the field goal one time. The other time, we got on the ball, which helped us. You know what? That's part of football, creating turnovers, but also sometimes you don't create them. But maybe the play on the other side, maybe the aggressiveness of the D-line made that center think a little bit, I got to get this snap and get over here because of the quickness of the nose guard. Who knows what's going through his mind? And when he did that, we did take advantage of it. We didn't just say, okay, it's a loss. We got the ball, and that was exciting to know and to see. And their defense was as good as there was. They got probably one of the better players in the country, and especially in this conference, in the Donahue kid. But he is a defensive end that I want to say has set a West Georgia record, if not on total sacks in a season. So he'll be probably considered for the All-American team, as well as a lot of others, and maybe we might have one as well.
Well, Sharon Wright got back of the ball game after missing some time with an injury. His completion percentage was down, and that's been very high all year. He's been very accurate all season long. Showed just a little bit of rust, but I thought played a good ball game.
I thought he did too. And you know what? Some of those throws I'm talking about with good coverage. Yeah, you know what? We have some incompletions. Some I thought we could have completed, maybe 2 or 3 that he should have had. But the others are just, you know, receivers getting open and also come up with a catch. And then a lot of times you got to give the defense credit. They're able to play good defense and knock those balls down. But we still moved the ball. We had well over 300 yards of offense and against the top-rated defense at that time, the top-rated defense in our conference. So when you're the top-rated defense in the Gulf South Conference in Week 8, that means you're pretty doggone good. And we were able to move it on them, and I'd like to have got a few more. We got down there one more time. 23 points was good because it was above the average they were giving up, but they were we got a chance to get in there in the end zone, and we got a safety out of that, which was probably a blessing because we got the ball automatically. You know, if we would have scored, we would have had to get an onside kick. Now, I'm not saying we wouldn't have got it. We could have, but it was automatically. We were going to get that unless they onside kicked it, which they weren't going to do. But they kicked it back there, and we had a chance to get into scoring range and to maybe tie that game up.
You know, one of the statistics that the Choctaws have gotten consistently better in as the season has gone along is third down completion. 7 of 17 this past ball game against West Georgia. It was a really rough start to the season in that category, but
no doubt.
This team's moving the ball, moving the chains more consistently.
We are, and you know what? We've gotten better at a lot of things over the past few years, but especially this year is throwing the football better. You know, throwing is a combination. It's not just throwing it. You don't have a quarterback that has ability to throw, but you got to have receivers who can catch. You got to have receivers who can get open and adjust, because it's not like they're just running a route on a paper. You know, you draw it up and that's the way it looks. That's exactly where I'm going to go. It's not always the case. You've got to adjust to defenses because they're going to be trying to prevent you from running those routes. They're going to be trying to prevent you from catching the ball and throwing the ball. That also adds one more element, and that is protection. And we've been doing really good at that. It's not just the offensive line, though. It's the offensive linemen in the protection, but it's also running backs who can help. And that might be one or both if we want to get 4 receivers out or just 3.
And now as we take a look at the shorter game this coming up week, you've had a week off to prepare for this ball game. Yeah. So what was any adjustments to the routine that you've had this past week?
We did have some adjustments. One was we used some of that time for rest. You know, we didn't want to just practice 5 straight days. You know, we're not playing and let's keep them on the same routine. We wanted to utilize this. That's what an open date is for, to, yes, get prepared for an opponent, but also rest your bodies. Football is it's a tough sport. I was going to say violent sport. You know what? It's violent to me because if I got out there, I'd be hurting. Because I can remember back in the day when I played, and just so much pain involved in my body right now. But you know what? That is something that football, you need the recovery time. That's why we just play once a week. And when we have a Thursday night game, if you played on Saturday, that's even tougher. And those guys in the NFL, you know, they go from Sunday to Thursday. Man, that's really tough. And so, but you know, in our league, that's one of those things. So we use it for rest, one thing. But we also did get a little bit ahead of the game, and our coaches got out on the road a little bit and did a little bit of recruiting. And so to get out there and see, we're in what we call an evaluation period in the NCAA. They can go out, they can talk to coaches, view film. You can't meet with any players face to face, but we can get out there and see some of these guys in person on their campus, and it gives us a chance to get not ahead, but stay ready, because right after the season, we've got to get another recruiting class ready to go for next year, and that to add on to what we've already started here for the last few years.
Yeah, the Hawks, as we get them this week, they've been shut out 3 straight weeks. They've got to win a game this year. And, you know, it's one thing to say, well, these guys are winless on the season. It's another thing to say we're not going to prepare to do our very best.
We're not overlooking anybody. Nobody should in this league. And you can tell Valdosta State, you know, we haven't had a win. Our record doesn't say that we're doing real good either. They came in here, we were leading them in the fourth quarter, 41-35, and they beat us by 1. You know, it shows don't overlook anybody in this league, and us included. Shorter as well. They were down to West Georgia 7-0 at half. 7-0, and we know how good they are. Okay, they're very talented. They're very big. They're great on defense, and so I know that Shorter can play. I know they're close. You know, we talk about us. I'm not going to speak for them, but we're not overlooking them at all. We're going to have to play our best, and that's what we're shooting to do, is play our best in week 9. Our week 9 of our season to come out with a victory this week.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time once again, and we're looking forward to the game this Saturday against the Hawks. Thanks so much.
Thank you.